It's big. Almost too big.
What? This is extra huge. This is basically my whole house in one room.
Yeah.
And it's not selling.
Unfortunately, there hasn't been any offers to date.
Just how on earth do you get a landed property of this size to even move?
What does it take to sell a home? And how do you wow potential buyers and seal the deal? Today, we're going to be looking at a landed property with multi-stories, lots of space, and killer views. It's definitely a dream home that many of us can't afford. So, what does it actually take to sell one of these big and expensive beauties? Let's find out.
This week, we travel to the lush and green spaces of District 21 in Upper Bukit Timah. A peaceful and quiet residential sanctuary, far removed from the urban hustle and bustle, yet within striking distance to all the creature comforts and amenities we simply can't live without.
Hi, I'm Josh and I've been in the real estate industry since 2020.
In the space of just 3 years, George has sold everything from HDBs to condos to landed properties and has become one of the most recognizable faces in the business.
I think real estate piqued my interest because I love numbers. I love to see how I can transform the properties and how I can really help a client. I personally seen how real estate can change someone's life.
George, you've just been assigned this big and expensive property to sell, so how are you feeling?
Feeling confident.
Very confident?
Very confident.
I love men with confidence. Like, scared. Which one is the house?
Just on the left, right here, this massive one.
Wow, this is huge, man!
Yep.
Whoa!
Nestled in a landed enclave of Jalan Jurong Kecil, this week's property is a 3-story detached house built on top of precious freehold land. Sitting on nearly 5,000 square feet of land, this is one of the biggest homes in the neighborhood, with 5 bedrooms and 1 entertainment room spread across 3 levels and a total built-up area of over 7,000 square feet. It's no wonder that the asking price for this property is a whopping $10 million.
You know, George, I've always wondered how a $10 million home looks like.
There you have it, yeah.
Super huge!
This house was purchased by the owners about 20 years back. Back then, this was a semi-detached house. It's a 2-story house. And then they took on the decision to tear down and then to rebuild into this current 3-story detached property. So as we move towards this area, you can see the dining space. It's big enough to host 10, 12 packs, not an issue. And this is a house that's been very well maintained over the past 20 years. There's sufficient number of bedrooms. Segregation is done very well.
The first of the many rooms.
Yes.
So this is the first. Is this a bedroom?
This is currently used as an ironing room.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a room dedicated to ironing of clothes.
Wait, how many people are staying in this house?
Including helpers, there's a total of 4.
There's only 4 of them.
Yes, correct.
7 bedrooms?
4, 6 bedroom plus 2 other family rooms. Yeah.
8 altogether.
Yeah.
Who knew that too much space could be a bad thing? But this is why the owners have decided to sell off the home for something much more manageable.
This is the master.
Okay, this is basically my whole house in one room.
Yeah.
The master bedroom even has its own living space and exercise area. Everything in this house is simply over-the-top gigantic.
What? This is extra huge. This is another room on its own. Crazy, man. Why would you need so much space for a toilet?
Let's head up to the 3rd floor.
3rd floor. How many more floors do we have with this huge house? I'm tired.
Is your legs turning jelly?
Yeah, man.
Right, Fauzie, I want to show you the best
What
part
is this?
of this house.
Woohoo! Wow!
Multi-million-dollar view right here. So you can actually have very nice vantage points looking across towards the highest point in Singapore, Bukit Timah Nature Reserve.
That's Bukit Timah Nature Reserve.
Yes.
Wow! Now this is the money shot, right? This is where the 10 million is.
Yes. So this house was previously marketed by another agent for the past 6 months. There has been about 2 or 3 viewings, and unfortunately there hasn't been any offers to date.
We've seen the entire house now.
Yep.
So now, I'm going to ask you, what is your biggest challenge in selling this property?
Right. I think the obstacle is really to bring out the potential about this place and how we can help buyers envision their property journey, the moment they buy, and how they can then transit, say, 5, 6, 7, 10 years down the road.
According to George, the real challenge is in getting buyers to understand the true value of the property, to get them to look beyond the present and see how its value can increase over the years. Simply because the property sits on a large and wide plot of freehold land that allows it to be redeveloped and subdivided into 2 smaller homes in the future.
I think the property is at a realistically challenging price. Similar type of properties, if we take a look at the next closest district, which is along the Bukit Timah belt, they are going at about a price bracket that is 15 to 20% higher. Within this district, some of the prices for a similar property type, they are going at about 1,900 PSF, whereas for this property, we are going at about 2,000 PSF. At the end of the day, once the buyer sees the value of the land, sees the characteristics that they love, and then they want to be able to come in and say, okay, look, the first 8 to 10 seconds is something that appeals to us the most. And with the staging, with the right placement of furniture, that would then be able to generate a higher degree of success.
Right. Definitely. So you're talking about you want to do some staging, you want to do some sprucing up of this whole entire area, this whole property. I know the exact person who can help us with this challenge.
And we need someone who can turn this big but boring-looking home into one that matches its sky-high price tag.
My name is Arjan. I'm an interior designer based in Singapore. I've been in Singapore for about 25 years, but before that I worked in Hong Kong and I worked in the US as well. Originally I'm from the Netherlands, so I've worked in different continents on different projects.
From luxury homes to high-end hotels, this interior designer has done it all and achieved accolades far and wide.
My design philosophy is more about how people feel when they walk through the door. So rather than looking at the actual space planning, etc., it's more like how does everything come together from materials and style and how that evokes your emotions. So what do you feel are the key problem areas in the space?
The problem is it's too big. When it's too big or when it's too empty, then it might make the overall space look a little bit smaller. So what we want to do is to see, how we can utilize the space, showcase the space, and to appeal to, multi-generational living that is, buying into this property right here.
I think the key problem I find in a house is like the space allocation. When we talk about the living room, for instance, it looks a little bit disjointed. Because all the furniture is pushed against the wall, people won't necessarily see the space in between the furniture. So when we start grouping it closer together, what you will have is a nice seating arrangement, but you will still have a little bit of space of the boundary. So actually it makes the place look bigger. So the key areas for me to focus on, I think, for the styling would be more the living room space. It's a huge space, so I think it needs proper zoning. If you take the white elephant in the room, which is the dining area, it might be very suitable for the current owners, how they live their life. But I think for the target audience that you're looking at, maybe an 8-seater dining table would be more suitable. Instead of having it in this corner, it could move into the more open area. It's closer to the light, and you can probably have like a nicer, bigger table.
Right, perfect. I think what you share, actually hits the nail in terms of what we want to do. I think the next thing that we really want to balance off is the speed of delivery so that, we don't compromise in terms of the marketing speed, such that we can get the desired results in ideally the shortest possible turnaround time, which is essential for our homeowners.
It's really big, but also a little plain. So, can we work our magic to turn this home around to match that spectacular price tag? I certainly hope so. So let's get to work.
Although big and beautiful, this pricey 3-story freehold property has been languishing on the market with no offers. Can newly appointed agent George find the right marketing approach to get this $10 million sale back on track?
To get the house ready for viewings, it must first be staged to appeal to high-end buyers. Hey guys!
Hey, Fauzie.
Wow, before anything, Arjan, really nice office you have here. I am impressed.
Thank you.
Okay, so what's happening right now?
We're at the planning stage, which starts with the inspiration picture. It has a kind of like California Pacific Palisades idea. The Pacific Palisades look, it's an LA, so an American look. Very sun-kissed beach. It has that very luxe but laid-back kind of a scheme, and I think that kind of like worked very well with the current owners, how I kind of see the people that live there.
It's all on frames?
Yes, because I'm old school.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm actually very impressed that you're doing this.
Likewise.
Thank you. I think in interior design, the most important aspect is for a home to have like a foyer area. So when you walk into the space, there's like this decompression zone, as I call it. I think it's a place where you can kind of leave the outside world behind and transit into home in a way. So when we walk in, we have like a center table with some flower arrangement.
Yes.
That kind of creates that barrier.
So this will be the first zone.
Yes.
The multiple zones that we wanted to create.
Yeah. The living room, much the same. I think our key focus will be the gallery wall that I'm planning on doing. So like 9 paintings I'm planning at the back of the wall.
You draw the attention there.
Yeah, basically what you want is when you design is that when you walk in, you need one point that you can kind of focus.
The eyes on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then from there you reveal the room. I think it helps to create these zones because people can understand the room a little bit better. So with each zone, it just kind of helps them to focus and probably visualize a little bit like, okay, this is what I can do in this space.
However, Arjan's grand plan to expand and move the dining area has met with resistance from the owners.
My suggestion was to put an 8-seater dining in this space and make this area like a library.
Okay.
But I think George has some updates for us.
Yeah, ideally, I think we want to go with this plan, but unfortunately we can't. Just want to make sure that we work around the seller's lifestyle, where they still want to have the dining table at this current position.
Is that okay, Arjan?
Life is always like that.
Yes.
So
Want to go with the flow?
yes. So from an interior design point of view, obviously you always have ideals. You always have like things that you want to do.
Yeah.
But in the end, reality is, what do clients want?
As long as we meet in the middle, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, I would like to have seen an 8-seater dining set in the area what I think would have been the best place. Some battles you win, some battles you lose.
So this is the California lifestyle.
That's what we are
What
aiming
about
for.
what about Bedok lifestyle? What would you put if it's a Bedok lifestyle? No, just playing. Okay, continue.
When we look through Arjan's plan, I think it speaks well in terms of the design as well as marrying what is the kind of existing color tones of this house as well as the various zones that we set out to achieve right from day one.
With the designs approved, it's time for Arjan to source for the right furniture pieces that will bring out the look he's after.
So the sourcing for the furnitures for staging, we're working together with a furniture rental company. Cool. Yeah, that's a nice piece. So we can use that for the entrance. I work together with Kelvin on pieces that I would like to see. He sees what he has available and what he can get. So you were thinking this for the coffee table?
Yep. It's a wooden top with golden frame.
Home staging often involves the use of short-term rental furniture. This allows Arjan to quickly choose from a vast library of existing furniture pieces and accessories at a much cheaper cost than buying new.
When you look at like certain colors and certain materials, I think we got maybe about 70% where my vision was for it. Compromises always have to be made, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
We can always bring extra, so when we are there, we can decide on the spot which carpet is better.
And then the second part, which is the softer side of it, which is your styling items, your decor items. There are some pieces that we can get, obviously, from the rental company. But I think in the end, you want to also bring a little bit of personality. So I will be dipping in my own library of items that I have, which are styling items. I will probably be purchasing a few items that I feel would be suitable. I might even pull some items from my own home, just to kind of put together that decor scheme I think that we're looking at.
While staging is important, a lot more needs to be done to market a $10 million property. George shows me how he uses 3D visualization to get his selling points across to buyers.
Right, Fauzie?
Yeah.
So let us show you what we are working on for Jalan Kakatua. This is what we call the architectural visualization.
All right.
So in short, this is basically just selling a dream. So what we are doing is basically, to showcase the possibility to tear down, to rebuild to its fullest potential.
Okay.
Or, like what you see over here, is also to showcase the possibility of the fact that this land plot has the ability to subdivide into a pair of semi-D.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think what's going to happen is not only are you going to be able to sell the dream, but you're also going to be able to sell it for 10 million.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah?
That's correct.
Yes, I'm confident after looking at this.
With all the prep work done, it's time to start the transformation process. Due to limited budget and time, the staging focuses on the huge living and dining area on the ground floor. It's the first point of entry for buyers into the home, and it cannot fail to make the perfect first impression. That means almost all of the old and dated furniture had to go, replaced by clean and sleek pieces that were personally selected by Arjan. Along with hand-picked decorative art pieces and accessories that bring the sun-kissed, chilled-out Pacific Palisades vibe to life. All of which I'm very excited to see with my very own eyes.
Arjan!
Hey, how are you?
Flowers at this end of the house now, yeah?
Yes.
Wow.
Of course, they will brighten up every space.
It looks very good.
You want to help?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Thank you. Wow, wow.
There you go. There's no
Yellow
rhyme or reason. You just start from the center and fill out.
Okay. Do I put everything at once or just one?
No, at least have them a little bit space to breathe.
Why do you choose to put the flowers at this end of the house?
I think the light kind of catches it nicely. I think flowers always can bring an easy pop of color without like really making a big change to the walls.
Right.
So if you're, let's say, in this place where we're not really painting, and we have the furniture quite neutral and natural, flowers and these kind of things actually help to brighten the place.
And it adds character to the house.
Yes, and adds color. I think that's always important.
Yep.
So we have a series of prints. I think I kind of picked things that kind of like work together in color, but also the heavier ones a little bit more at the bottom. So the ones that have a bit more darker colors, and the lighter colors we kind of like keep on top. From a creativity point of view, I think artworks was the biggest issue, I think. What type of artwork do we put on the wall? I think that was something needed a little bit more research on my end. So I am hanging a group of 9, if it all fits on the wall.
9 frames,
9 frames.
Okay.
Different artworks that are like work together as an overall set. See?
Oh.
Looks quite nice.
Looks expensive. That's the bottom set?
An easy way to add character to a space is to create a gallery wall. With tasteful printouts and budget-friendly frames, you can group together and cleverly display collections that infuse color and pattern to an otherwise empty space, creating an eye-catching focal point that makes any living room look like $1 million, or in this case, 10.
Have life been good?
You have to press.
I'm pressing. We're the armpit buddies.
Yes.
Tall order is achieved as well.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
Ah, yes.
Wow.
Yes,
wow,
okay.
Wow,
Thanks.
wow.
You rise to the occasion and...
Wow. Careful.
But I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I agree.
Good job.
Good job.
We start a new company, the Property Frame Brothers.
From plain and boring to positively charming and inviting, the stage is almost set for the open house. But will it be enough to help George sell this home for $10 million? Find out after the break.
This massive 3-story freehold property has been on the market for months, but buyers are turned off by its price tag and dull interiors. With the help of renowned interior designer Arjan, we are transforming the property from drab to fab in order to help sell this dream home.
Stage is set and finally we can show off and sell the house. But before we open the home to potential buyers, let's check out what Arjan has done to the place. Let's go.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, George.
Hey, Fauzie.
Whoa, look at these beautiful flowers over here. This is the decompression zone, right?
Yeah, like the foyer area that we wanted to create, and hopefully it's the first thing that you see entering the house.
Definitely this was the first thing I saw because, wow, look at these amazing flowers.
Before, it felt like you were stepping into a big, empty room full of nothing. Now, Arjan has created a sense of a grand entrance, a foyer with an arresting wildflower arrangement that draws the eyes and gives much-needed depth to the space.
And there used to be a sofa in this area, right?
Yeah, we had a big sectional sofa here, which we kind of repurposed with a console.
Right.
Could be a shoe cabinet.
Maybe you can tell me more about this man looking down right here?
The sad-looking sculpture.
But it works. Arty-farty.
I think what we wanted to do is keep the color palette very simple. It's kind of like an aged brass color, which kind of like picks up on the celadon that I'm using and George's shirt.
Yeah, I think he purposely put this on today, right?
I have to match it to Arjan's styling.
I'm sure.
When we saw the place, initially it was like an empty space, and we said it lacks a little bit of an emotional connection. And I think now the house just looks a little bit more upmarket. It just has a little bit more character to it.
Character and style were both elements that were sorely lacking in the living room. But now, with the injection of sleek contemporary furniture, charming art pieces, and a conversation-worthy gallery wall, it has been transformed to one befitting a $10 million home.
I can see that even though we're using bigger furniture around this area now, but the place still looks a little bit more spacious, yeah?
Yeah, because we anchored everything on the area rug, so this demarks the space. And what we did is we pushed the furniture away from the walls. So actually what we created was a little bit more extra space behind this sofa.
Yeah, yes.
So that console is all extra space that we created by pushing the furniture inward.
Visual spacing.
Yes. But then the side chairs, we kept a little bit smaller profile, so that opens up the space a little bit more.
Right.
I think that is what we really want to achieve, by repositioning the furniture. Right now, it looks a lot more cozy. This will, really envision buyers to, hey, I can sit down here, I can have great conversation.
Right.
We can have a great time, watching the TVs and stuff like that. Yeah.
For the family or even when you have guests coming over, right?
Yeah.
So we kept the dining area in its original location.
Due to the homeowner's request, the dining room remains largely the same. But with just a few deft styling touches, Arjan has given the space a new lease of life.
This is the first time I actually noticed the lights over here. Were they originally here before?
Yeah, the lights were here already.
Really?
Yes, but maybe because the flowers, and then the flowers have kind of like an upwards move. So what happens, your eye sees the flowers, goes up, and then you start seeing the lights. So the space opened up quite nicely because we have this area rug to demark the space.
Yeah.
And then slightly bigger furniture pieces.
Yep.
The open empty corner would have been the ideal place for Arjan to place an 8-seater dining table. Instead, it is now a cozy library/play area, which as far as compromises go, is no bad thing at all.
What's nice, like if kids will be playing here, and then with the family sitting there, you have kind of like a line of sight on them, so everybody's together in the same space.
Right.
I think it's a work of art. I think Arjan executes the work fantastically. Usually when a space this big, and if you don't fill up the whole area, it might look a bit small. When the buyer steps in, they will just simply see this as one space. Whereas right now, they see this as 4 spaces. I think more importantly, they are able to see how their family members can fit into all these spaces. And I think that's really the thing that we really want to achieve when it comes to selling a home.
You know what, guys? I think we're ready to sell this home for $10 million.
Spot on, yes. I think we are definitely ready.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Good job, team.
With all the marketing and staging done, it's now time for the final hurdle, to find out what potential buyers thought of the property. George has arranged for an open house to see if our makeover made a difference.
I understand that the moment you entered into the house, you exclaimed, wow.
Yes, I did wow when I came in. I like the space. It's got no columns, it's got no pillars, and I like the woody feel, of the decor. It's to my taste.
My first impression of this house is very spacious, very brightly lit. Yeah, really gives us the wow feeling. Yeah, very grand.
The favorite part is the foyer area. Yeah, the flowers. But the moment I step in, it's like back to a great hotel. Yeah,
Wow.
It's a very homely. Yeah.
So what do you think of the asking price of $10 million?
I think with the current property market, right, the asking price is quite reasonable.
Right.
Yes, but of course, if it can be lower, it will be better.
10 million is a bit high, so it's best that you can give me a better price and I can consider it.
Right.
Definitely, I'll go for it if the price is right.
Well, it's on the high side, but I do like the size. I do like the decor. I love it. I love the decor very much. And most of all, it's a freehold property. That's what I'm actually looking for.
So you're considering it?
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
So after staging the home, of course, when the buyer steps in, they are able to visualize the space even better. With that in mind, some of the buyers are asking for a second viewing. Usually when it comes down to the second viewing, the chances of concluding a sale will then be higher. At the end of the day, we are confident to conclude this successfully, positively, at a very strong price that is close to the 10 million mark.
From zero interest to potentially multiple offers, George may just be the agent who finally succeeds in closing the deal for this magnificent landed property.
What does it take to sell a $10 million home? Apparently, the same thing it takes to sell a dream. Which means lots of number crunching, getting the message out to the right buyers, appealing to them not just logically, but also emotionally. And if you can do all that, the sale is no longer a dream.